It's Tuesday, November 28th, 2023, and this is Uranium Spotlight, your weekly podcast dedicated to delivering the latest news and events shaping the uranium fuel market and its critical role in the global energy landscape. Brought to you by PurePoint Uranium Group, trading on the TSX Venture and the OTCQB. PurePoint actively operates a portfolio of advanced uranium projects in the world's richest uranium district and has established partnerships with some of the largest uranium suppliers worldwide. While our passion for this subject is undeniable, it's essential to clarify that the information presented here is not investment advice. Instead, our goal is to offer an unbiased and comprehensive review of recent events that could impact uranium prices. And now your host, Chris Frostad.
This week on Uranium Spotlight, we report news out of Canada and their commitment to both nuclear power and the uranium that fuels it. We'll also report on additional units listed by Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, but first, this week's surging uranium prices. Matching the prior week's increase, the spot price moved another $3.75 last week to close at $81 US per pound U3O8. Last week in the uranium markets, spot activity started moderately but declined as Thanksgiving holidays in the U.S. took hold, with only 6 transactions reported by midweek. The market remained subdued since Wednesday afternoon with flat bids and offers. Earlier in the week, buying interest pushed some bids up to the $80 to $81 range, indicating a solid spot price in the $80 plus level. Wednesday's activity reinforced this pricing level, with pricing differentials easing. Preference for delivery at Coverdine and interest in selling material at Orano were noted. In the uranium term market, last week saw no new demand or contract awards, though utilities received offers. Multiple U.S. and non-U.S. utilities are evaluating offers for various uranium forms and delivery periods. Despite increased term activity in recent months, there were no reported contract awards for November. Ongoing spot price increases and limited responses to midterm delivery requests indicate tightening supply in the next 1 to 4 years. The long-term U3O8 price rose to $66 per pound, up $3 for the month, reflecting continued upward pressure. Canada is a relatively influential country in the uranium and nuclear space. With both a sizable fleet of reactors and one of the world's most significant supplies of high-grade uranium, Canada is a powerhouse for the uranium and nuclear industries. Canada hosts 19 operating reactors across the country, with all but one of them in the province of Ontario. The 19th is in New Brunswick. Although Canada overall only derives about 14% of its energy generation from nuclear sources, Ontario, Canada's most populous province, gets a full 58% of its electricity from its reactors. One of the largest clean energy projects in North America is currently underway to refurbish a significant proportion of Ontario's reactors. It is expected to take 15 years and cost $26 billion to refurbish 8 reactors, which includes 4 reactors at Bruce Nuclear Power Generating Station and 4 at Darlington Nuclear Generating Station. All existing reactors in Canada are of the CANDU design, which is unique in that the uranium used does not have to be enriched before it goes into the reactor. Multiple Canadian provinces are also looking into building small modular reactors, a new type of reactor which is designed to be smaller, cheaper, and quicker to build. On the fuel side, Canada's uranium business is solely concentrated in the western province of Saskatchewan, where uranium mining and exploration began in 1942. Canada has reserves of over 694,000 tons of uranium, and in 2022, Canada produced nearly 9,000 tons of uranium. Canada, at one time, was the world's largest producer of uranium, year after year, until they were overtaken in 2009 by Kazakhstan. Canada has also produced the most uranium to date until 2020, when they were again overtaken by Kazakhstan in that field as well. Despite falling slightly behind in a couple of these metrics, Canada remains one of the world's key sources of uranium, and especially high-grade uranium. Grades out of Saskatchewan's Athabasca Basin are typically over 100 times the world average. As a leader in both uranium mining and reactor building, Canada is well primed for a nuclear revival that may have already begun in earnest. Last week, Saskpower and Ontario Power Generation, also known as OPG, announced a collaboration on a program to bring small modular reactors to Saskatchewan. OPG is acting through its subsidiary, Laurentis Energy Partners, or LEP. Small modular reactors, or SMRs, with their lower costs and faster build times, are likely perfect for Saskatchewan, as the province has a relatively small population compared to other Canadian provinces, spread out across vast distances. SMRs will allow Saskatchewan to put baseload electricity generation right where they need it most and on a budget. Saskatchewan also has the uranium necessary to fuel its new fleet of SMRs, with all of Canada's high-grade deposits located within that province. LEP has said that as partners in this new project, they will focus on licensing, program management, and operational readiness for the construction of these reactors. Saskatchewan has selected the GE Hitachi Nuclear Energy's BWRX-300 design as their SMR for deployment. OPG has said that both parties can leverage OPG's long experience in building and maintaining reactors. OPG has also said that it's looking to deploy these SMRs in fleet mode, both in Ontario and in Saskatchewan, to keep costs down and maximize efficiency. Ontario is looking to deploy the first SMRs worldwide as it looks to ramp up nuclear power production in the face of climate change. Last week out of Ontario, Bruce Power, OPG's main competitor in terms of nuclear energy production, announced that they'll be launching a request for information program as well as an advisory panel to study expanding nuclear generation on the Bruce Power site. As the looming threat of a warming climate approaches, both of Ontario's main utilities are looking for ways to expand atomic power generation. In further developments out of Saskatchewan yesterday, Premier Scott Moe has announced that the province will be funding the development of microreactors to the tune of $80 million. The money will go to the Saskatchewan Research Council, which will look to deploy the first microreactor in the province. Microreactors are a type of reactor that is even smaller than a standard SMR. Microreactors are designed to replace gas-powered generators in remote communities. The reactor that Saskatchewan is looking to deploy in this instance is the eVinci microreactor, which is designed and built by Westinghouse. With microreactor and SMR projects in development, Saskatchewan and Canada at large will soon have one of the most advanced fleet of reactors in the world, and the uranium to supply those power plants. Last Wednesday, the Toronto Stock Exchange reported that Sprott Physical Uranium Trust would list up to an additional $125 million US of trust units. The Sprott Physical Uranium Trust invests and holds substantially all of its assets in uranium in the form of U3O8 and provides a secure, convenient, and exchange-traded investment alternative for investors interested in holding uranium. According to the TSX, the listing will cover units to be sold to the public pursuant to the at-the-market distribution procedures, as defined by National Instrument 44-102, Shelf Distributions. The TSX noted that the ATM sales will be made directly on the TSX or any other existing trading market in Canada during the period commencing on November 20th, 2023, and ending upon the earlier of the distribution of all units or the termination of the amended and restated sales agreement. As a result of the ATM procedures, prices may vary between purchasers and during the period of distribution. And that wraps up your Uranium Spotlight coverage for this week. For more news and events from the world of uranium, please tune in next week to Uranium Spotlight.
You've been listening to Uranium Spotlight, your weekly podcast dedicated to delivering the latest news and events shaping the uranium fuel market and its critical role in the global energy landscape. Brought to you by PurePoint Uranium Group, advancing its position as the premier uranium explorer in the world's richest uranium district. Join us again next week for Uranium Spotlight.